That'll be it.
You do? I missed it. Oh, dude, I do you were doing the irises. I was looking at well, I was at the last one and he got sick
Okay. Okay. Okay, everybody, we're going to go ahead and start here. Okay, everybody, I'm going to stand right under here. Hi, everybody in TV land. Hi. We're here with Urban, Zundt, and Tracey Simms. They've already done one presentation today, so you're going to get a really warmed up group here. So here we go. So a couple things. Urban comes from Switzerland, and then Tracey comes from Australia. However, she keeps him in line, and he basically
does whatever he's told.
Yeah, pretty much. So they're very close friends of mine, and we're very fortunate to have them. And I think you're really going to enjoy today's SoTime Club presentation. So welcome, everybody. It's a good group of people here. Wow, thanks for coming. We had 26 in the last group, but we know there's a lot of you that are out there. So enjoy.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our Zundt Design Trunk Show. We're going to start with our collections.
We might do around the room. We've got a lot on display in the room, so we will start with what we have on display in the room. A lot of the product that we have here is new from last year, for those of you who were here last year. So we'd like to share with you the new products straight up and some of the new design collections. And then you were lucky to get a sneak peek at what is still coming. We've got some amazing new design sets, project book that are coming for later in the year. So products that have not been seen anywhere, you will see them first here. So, yeah, we're really, really excited about that. So we will get started. So the first collection, which is on the left side of the wall, is Morris Inspirations. And that is it's a combination of applique and embroidery, and it was inspired by William Morris. And I was talking to someone before about Morris Inspirations, and the collection is called Morris Inspirations. Both Urban and I are very, we enjoy his design, and as an artist, I was very inspired by his work prior to being involved in the embroidery industry. So that is Morris Inspirations. That is a design set. It's not a project book, but the quilt instructions do come as a PDF on the design set. Next to that, you can see Mystique, and that was our 2022 block of the month, and we've now released that as a design set that you can purchase. It includes all the quilting designs, the embroidery designs, the instructions fully on how to create that beautiful quilt. That one I did in complementary colours, so only two colourways. That is the purple and yellow, but we have seen that created in a multitude of colours, and it is quite a beautiful quilt. That was inspired by Moroccan tiles. So putting those designs together, that was my thoughts on Urban's amazing work. The one beside that, the art gallery, that is a combination of piecing, quilting, embroidery, and painting. So some of the embroidered designs do have a painted element to them. You can see in this section here, the leaves are first of all stitched in the metallic thread and then painted. Some of these here, these flowers, are a combination of painting and embroidery. This is all quilted in the hoop. So these designs are actually, you can see it's all quilted as you go. It is embroidered and it's all pieced in our new 70 weight matte thread. It's called Nobel and it is a polyester thread that is matte. So it looks like cotton, but it doesn't have any of the lint or anything like that and the issues that you would have with a normal cotton thread. I even use it as my construction thread, my bobbin thread for this. It's very strong. They're 2,000 metre spools, so you get quite a lot of the thread. And the gold quilting you can see on the side panels and the border, that is pale gold 60 weight metallic thread. And our metallic threads are different to normal metallic threads. They are a finer thread. The gold and silver set, and then we have the favourites. So these are the coloured sets. So these ones are all 50 weights, and these are the 60 weights. So these are the finer ones. Normal embroidery thread is 40 weight, so they will be different. One of the other new things that we have is bobbin threads. These are 2,500 metre spools, and you can get them either in a box set with snow white, ivory, beige, mid-grey and black, or you can buy them as individual spools of bobbin thread. Moving around the room, we have paisley fields. This one, when I designed this, I was originally going to use this as a blocker for Mum, but there were so many amazing ideas I had in my head, I decided to create a project book with that one. The book and the rest of the samples are under here somewhere. Yeah, there it is. So this is the project book that comes with that one. And some of the samples that we have here. This is a skirt that I created with one of the designs. And I've used 2 layers of organza to create the panel. And it's just a straight A-line skirt. Simple design, but made really elegant with the use of the embroidery. And I created a table runner, a beautiful bag. So all the instructions, all the requirements, everything that you need are listed in the book. And this is the runner, and that's stitched on organza as well. And I've put the fabric in behind so that it showcases the embroidery. This is one of the pillows or cushions. In Australia, we call these a cushion, and I know you call them a pillow here, but in Australia, a pillow is what you go to sleep on, and everything else is a cushion. So that is another of the projects. There is a table mat, there's coasters, there's quite a lot. And on the back of each of the books, you'll actually see all the projects. So if you're not sure, that is the Paisley Fields. Next to that, we have Botanical Blues. And this particular one is from the Botanical Blues project book. And that is one of the quilts. There are 3 quilts in this book, as well as some beautiful cushions. This is one of the other designs from the collection. And you can see the lovely ornamental designs. So there are floral designs, ornamental designs, there's butterflies, bees. This is another of the quilts from the collection. And you can see I've used, this has been done as quilt as you go. So you do the center panel and then work your way through. This is twisted pleats. This is normal pleating. So I've used some sewing techniques as well to create this quilt. And when I made this, it was to have freestanding butterflies on it. And I was very late getting this made before Houston, where it had to go on display. So I put them on with glue stick, and they stayed for the show, but they didn't stay after that. So now I have a bag of butterflies, which I still haven't stitched on. In this collection, you have the fine china quilt. This is another quilt. And then there is another really, really big quilt, full bed size quilt in there as well. Bed runner. There are some lovely pillows or cushions. There's a tray cloth, and as with all the books, the instructions are complete for you. So it gives you the threads, the listing of threads and what order to stitch them in, how to cut, how to do every part of the process. So that is Botanical Blues. Here we have Diamonds Are Forever, and this is a design set. It comes as the CD, which is in here, and the runner up the top is a project. You get the PDF instructions and everything on here to create that project. With this quilt, it has a large border as well. I just ran out of time and didn't get the big border onto it, but we are going to put a photo. We've got one in Australia that has the big border on it, so I'll put a photo up on social media so that you can see the border. The final border is amazing on it. And for those of you who are doing our class tomorrow, this is what you're doing. And it is from that collection that we have put this together. So that's our Diamonds Are Forever cushion class that we're doing tomorrow. That's the different colorway. This one here, these designs are from and I have to put my American accent on now. In Australia, we call these flowers gerberas. Here they are Gerber or Gerbera. I'm not sure which because I hear both. Those daisy flowers are from this collection here. And we have some of the projects here. The quilt, this is another one that I thought of doing as a block of the month. And I wanted to use the designs in different ways for each of the blocks. So all the different designs in the different ways are from here. This one down here, it's a combination of painting and embroidery. And that's the design I've used in the center of the cushion here. And by using a fabric that is overprinted with a shine, the paint sinks into the cotton but sits on the shiny bit, so it gives a different texture. So it actually looks like it's appliqué, and it's not. It's just an outline embroidery with a wash of paint over the top. This is one of the cushions from that collection, and this here is a print from the original painting that I did to that Urban's digitized for the collection. This is another of the cushions, and with this one it's actually one piece of fabric, and I've created some bias and stitched the bias on so it looks like it's a pieced cushion, but it's not. Also in here we made a beautiful tablecloth and napkins just using the ornamental designs. So rather than using the flowers, we just used the scroll designs to make a beautiful cloth. And this is one of the napkins. So we've made the cloth and made the napkins and used one of the embroidery designs for that. And we also made candle wraps using the ornamental design on organza so that you could wrap it around the candle to have a nice display on the table. So that is Gerbera Jamisoni. I'll say that. Moving on from there, Birds of a Feather. The wall hanging that you see there, that is from the Birds of a Feather collection. This little one here is also this little guy here. In Australia, our robins are very different coloured to yours. We have really bright coloured robins. So our red robin is like Christmas red. It's not the burnt orangey red or rusty red that you see here. And we have the Eastern golden robin, we have the rose robin, the pink robin. So they're all really bright colours. So if you see in the book, I have Australianised our birds to have that lovely colourway. So as I said, that's one of the projects in that book there, and the quilting design that you see there, that is in the collection. There is a lovely quilt that is all the quilting and embroidery. The applique is all created in the hoop. We've got an enormous amount of samples here, but of course we can't bring everything. So we try to bring a cross-section of samples from all the different collections. The applique, the double applique you see on the wall hanging, that's all done in the hoop. So one piece is appliqued first, and then some embroidery, then a second applique is applied, and then the final embroidery is put in over the top. So all of that is in the collection. With the project books, you get the designs and the instruction booklet as well in printed form. We have created a picnic basket so that when I did these projects, it was springtime in Australia, so I wanted to make a picnic set. So the basket you can have to put all your goodies in, but it opens up to lay flat as a table mat so that it's multifunctional. We have in our country, especially up where I'm from, lots of bugs and insects. So when you go on your picnic and you have a glass of wine or a glass of, what do you call it here, pop soda or both?
Pop soda.
Yep, soft drink, we call it in Australia. These are made on organza with beading, so the beading adds a weight so the bugs can't get into your drink. So we did some of those. We have a napkin holder for napkin and cutlery rings. There is also a runner. So lots of projects again from Birds of a Feather. And you can see the use of the aqua metallic thread, how it gives that beautiful sheen to the bird's feathers and wings. And as you can probably tell, we use lots of metallic in our projects because they just add something, which I didn't believe initially. And Urban and I had a discussion about metallic thread, but he was right. So this is also designs from Birds of a Feather. Okay. After Birds of a Feather, that beautiful, quite striking runner is from the Mandala collection. And that is a design set. It comes as a CD or downloadable. And I do have, that's it there. Yes. Do you want to show everyone that? You can talk about that while I find the other sample.
Well, it's digitized in a form that you can do left and right in the center. So you don't need actually the great big hoop, but you also can just embroider it in one piece.
If you have the big hoop.
If you have the big hoop. There are 4 major designs. And an outline version of it. So if you take the Haben backing, it will really give you a relief kind of embroidery. Then you got here's a left and right, the same design. And then you have the sashing and the cornerstone, the mini version of it. And then you have a large cornerstone and sashing.
Yeah. So with just using the mandala without the outline and using the sashing designs and the border larger design, I have created a runner. So I've used the gold work for the background and just used the circles rather than the whole quilted piece. So they, the options and the things that you can do with those designs are amazing. Putting that on a jacket or something would be very striking. Urban mentioned a Haben before. A Harbin is a lightweight fusible fleece that we have developed that is very fine. It gives beautiful loft, and you can see I've used it on the quilt. So even though it's fine and light, it still enables enough relief to enhance the quilting, so you can actually see the dimension or the loft in the stitches. We have 4 stabilisers. When we were here last year, we had 2. Now we have 4. And a Harbin is one of them, and the other is Traeger. And Traeger is a very lightweight interfacing. So if you're doing tablecloths or clothing or anything like that, that you want to support your fabric, but you don't want loft, that's Traeger. And it is fusible. So you fuse it to the back of your fabric, and then it makes it more stable. It stops, you know how your cotton fabric can stretch and move a little bit? By using the Traeger on it, it gives real stability. You can see there's no stretch. So it stops that movement. The Harbin is what I use on all the quilts and that sort of thing. So anything, it's really nice on jackets too. You know, sometimes you want a little bit of fleece inside a jacket. That's beautiful. I've got samples here which I will pass around so you can have a feel. This is our wash away, and this is a real game changer for lace work and things like that. There's no stretch in it. And normal wash away, and particularly in your climate here, goes really floppy. And our wash away won't. We tested it. We put it in a hoop for 3 months in a humid climate, and it stayed flat the whole time. And it didn't go floppy or bend or anything like that. Because it's more stable too, for most embroideries, you only need 1 layer. So behind you, you can see all the beautiful lace work. Those on the right-hand side, those finer laces, you really only need 1 layer of the wash away. On the left side, it's much denser. I would still use 2 with that. But for the finer laces and for your clothing and things like that, you really only need 1 layer of the wash away. The other product we have is a very lightweight, fine tearaway. And by using either the Traeger or the Harbin to support the fabric and attach to the fabric, you don't need a lot of stabilizer in your hoop. So I use 1 layer of the tearaway, but have the fabric supported by either the Traeger or the Harbin. And that's how we get our embroideries to look like they do. You're not getting buckling when you've got a lot of stiff tearaway. You get buckling in the hoop. You won't get that but when you have the Traeger or the Harbin with that really lightweight tearaway. Fantasia, this is still my favourite. Fantasia is a project book and design set, and the quilt, you can see each of those blocks is completed in the hoop. So the piecing, the quilting and the embroidery is all stitched in one hooping. And one of the things that we use is a wash away basting thread, and we baste the fabric to the stabilizer. And the reason we do that is so that when we join them together, we can just use a damp brush and wash the basting away, so you're not left with visible stitches or anything like that. I don't hoop fabric at all. I only ever hoop stabilizer. So I use a wash away basting thread, so I'm not sitting there afterwards having to unpick all my basting. You just run a damp brush over it and it disappears. So Fantasia. Most of these, the idea and of this whole project book was developed on a plane between here and Miami. I had my sketchbook and I had Urban beside me, and I'm sitting there drawing and saying, oh, I want to do this and I want the fabric, the piecing in the hoop and all of that. And then Urban designed the feathers and put the whole thing together. I designed the applique version, and Urban did all the designing for these. So with that particular project book, one of the great things is that the blocks and the border pieces are the same size. So you can see the runner up the top there, the pink one, predominantly pink and green. That's the same border as on the quilt that you can see beside it. This version, this is the same block as that one up there, but it's got a different border. So the borders and the blocks are all intermixable. So you could use this border with the feather blocks, or you can use either or. And they come as 8 or 9 inch blocks. Both sizes are in the collection. So if you have the smaller hoop, you can use it, or if you have the bigger hoop, you can make the bigger size. This particular cushion, this has freestanding elements that are created on wash away, and I've fused them together so that the back and the front look the same, and you make all the petals and do your blocks. These are the 8 inch blocks that I've used to create the lovely pillow. And this one's just quilted, and that is aqua metallic, or aqua as you say here. I learned that. It's just a simple quilting design that the metallic thread just adds that sparkle to, and I've added some rhinestones. The little purse that you can see hanging up there, that's part of this collection. It's a complete in the hoop project. There's a little coin purse or a gift card purse that, you know, if you wanted to buy someone a gift card, you, rather than just giving them the card, you can make a little purse so that it goes in. So project books, we have 11 project books that we have created. Daily Dreaming, this is a piece of the artwork. So this is how it all begins. I create artwork, and then that goes to Urban, and he digitizes from the artwork. This is Daily Dreaming, and the quilt for this is a big one, so I will need Urban to hold this up. Okay.
Wow.
So beautiful. So the border design on this, that was a stencil that I designed, and Urban turned it into this amazing embroidery. And this quilted section here, these gold quilted sections, that was also a stencil design, the same as this. So these are some of the flowers that I painted, and this is that main design that you saw on the piece of artwork before. So this is a large queen size quilt, and it's created quilt as you go so that you can do your centre section and then build on it from there. So it's not all put together and then quilted at the end, it's done as you go. There are some beautiful projects. When I created this, I wanted to decorate my whole bedroom. So this was the second project book that I did with Urban. And I was new to this industry. I didn't know it existed before I met Urban. So for me as an artist, my work was creating canvases and things like that. So when I could create in another medium, I just had to create everything, you know. I did lampshades, I did everything I could think of for this book. And my whole bedroom was created from this particular collection. So this is a bolster, and it looks beautiful with the cushion inside. But you can see here. And I've used, this is one of the border designs. It's a smaller version of the other one. This is another border design, and I've used the shrinky stuff, which I thought was quite fun, the shrink magic, I think it's called. This is another one, and I wanted to do some piecing and embroidery. I learned, in Australia, we call this patchwork, and I know you call it quilting here. I learnt that prior to doing embroidery. So I wanted to incorporate some of the patchwork. I also, being an artist, you've got to have artwork on the wall. So I got a piece of canvas and I quilted it and painted it and then embroidered on it and put some gold leaf work and everything on it. It's actually quite simple to do, and you can get, you know, fine cotton duck and quilt it, and it's just paint. It's no great technique. It's just literally layering paint over the top. And on Tracey Simms Designs YouTube, you can, if you're interested, you can go and have a look at some of the painting techniques and things that I have used. There's the the lampshade. This is my beautiful daughter. Even had to, we call this a brunch coat, and I think you call it a robe or a gown. The first two books I did are very Australian. The terminologies in them. Does anyone know what a peeper is?
Use your hand.
A peeper for us is this. It's a little piece of fabric that peeps out from a seam.
Oh.
So if you read in one of the books that peepers are attached, that is what I'm talking about. And I know here you call them flanges and flat piping. So anyway, I'm bilingual now. I speak Australian and American. I have learned. There's the bolster, and you can see how lovely it does actually look with a pillow inside. So that was Daylily Dreaming. The very first collection I did was called Golden Harvest. I'll just move you down. And this was my first ever embroidered quilt. Got it the right way up for a change. So when I made this, I did all the piecing, and I later learned that you should open out the seams and press them flat. I didn't. I just sewed them and pressed them one way. But you can see how beautiful the embroidery designs sit, and how all that beautiful gold outline work actually all lines up and everything. So I've used in the border colours that are very similar to the fabric, so that the border designs don't stand out, but these ones do. So the idea of doing all of this is to bring your eye into the quilt and to look at where I want your eye to go. So as a designer, we place fabric in places and designs and colour contrast, all those things are all part of the design process of making a quilt. So with this collection, of course, I had to create stuff to decorate the whole dining room, even a blind. Also, at the front of the book, there's a section on colour theory. That is a big thing. As an artist, we mix colours and everything, and we can create colours that work, but you have already fabric that's printed, dyes for the threads are already coloured mostly. So this just gives you an idea of what colours to put together and how, so that you know you're getting a really attractive outcome. When we do displays, the one thing people always say is, wow, your colours are amazing. And it's because I use colour plans. So when I'm designing something, I have a plan in mind of the colours before I create it. And that way I know that the colours will work together. So for this one, the quilt, a sideboard runner, even a blind. I had to even make a blind and embroider the blind. And that is a really easy blind to make. The instructions on how to make the blind are in there. That's just one of the designs from the blind. A beautiful tablecloth, which is a combination of applique and embroidery. There's napkins, coasters, a clock, and some wall art, and a recipe folder, and an apron. So all of those projects are in there as well. I'll go this way. La Vie en Rose. This is my jacket that I created with the designs from La Vie en Rose. And you can see behind here, there is some painted leaves. They are actually stenciled, and the stencil is on the back wall there. And you can see there are leaves and the rose. And the rose is I've used on the front behind the embroidery, and the leaves I have used on the back. And it just gives another dimension to the embroidery. It's not just a rose stuck on a jacket. There's layers of outline work and stenciling and the little rhinestones. So that is the La Vie en Rose project book. There are 2 quilts in this book. This is, the original quilt is still in Australia, but I've just started putting together another one, and I've brought it along just so that you can see how beautiful the designs are. This is the rose and some paint, and you can see I was just playing with colour with the stencil that gives that. This quilt here, this is called Ring of Roses. Oh, that one over to hold up. And this is the little cushion that goes with this particular quilt. This is a great size for a bed topper, so you can have your quilt underneath and have this one on the top. This is one embroidery design, and this is a combination of 2. So you've got the little corner design and then one that is just carried around. Again, colours, it's complementary colours. There's only 2 colour families used, and you know when you're using complementary colours on the colour wheel. Do you all know what that means? Yeah, opposite each other. It will always look nice. So that is Ring of Roses. This one here, this was a class that I taught in Texas. That is from the same book, and in the front of the book, I do give you the colours for the different colourways. So if you like red roses or orange or yellow, the colourways are all listed there for you so that you can choose which way you would like to make those designs. So that is La Vie en Rose. Christmas traditions. Do we all love Christmas?
Yes.
This book came about when I was here about 10 years ago at Sew Expo in Puyallup, and the design director for Northcott Fabrics came to see me and asked if I'd be interested in designing fabrics for them, and we created some fabric collections and coordinated with embroidery designs. So Christmas Traditions was the first one that we created with them. These are some of the designs from this. Now that's actually the border design from one of the quilts. This here, I haven't got that quilt with me, but what I do have is the border design. This is, you can see it's got the gold work and the poinsettias. And the quilt that comes from is here. So it's a combination of pieced fabric and embroidery. The main quilt for this collection is all embroidered, and there we go. So you can see there's a lot of gold work. This border is all gold metallic, and a lot of the quilting in here is gold metallic as well. And you've got the rose and the mistletoe and the holly and the hellebore, which is the Christmas rose, and the poinsettia as well. Also in this collection, we've got the beautiful birds, the cardinals. And I'd never seen a cardinal. In Australia, we do not have cardinals. So when Deborah said to me she wanted cardinals in this collection, I said, well, you'll have to photograph some for me because I have no idea what they are actually like. So she took some photos and I created the designs that Urban has so magnificently digitized. This is a card holder, so you can put your Christmas cards in, or you can put little gifts or candy cane or whatever you choose. These are some placemats in the gold work, the quilted work. This here, this is just built-in stitches from the machine. And I put the red on the green and the green on the red and the gold through the centre. So those designs are all from Christmas Traditions. And speaking of Christmas, we have another Christmas collection called Jingle Bells. And this is a brand new one that we just released, Christmas just gone. And this particular placemat is part of the collection. So you get that design with the centre quilted, all done in the hoop. And there are other designs and outline designs. So that is a design CD that comes with that one. Enchanting an Enemy. This one is a project book. And you need to hold this up, Evan, because it's heavy. This is a big one. This one I created Quilt As You Go, and I've used lots of sewing techniques with this as well as embroidery techniques. And you can see here I've used the pin tuck foot from the machine to create a pin tuck section. These are box pleats that I have then pulled together with a seed pearl to create that bow effect. All of the quilting here, these are all part of the embroidery design set, and this is done with pearl white metallic and violet rose metallic. So that's all metallic work, and you can see the border and this, there's a lot of metallic in here as well. With our metallics, as I said, they are a different weight to your normal metallics, and we do recommend that you use an 80-12 top stitch needle, and I use a top stitch needle because it has a longer eye in it, and it does creates less friction from the metal. Depending on what machine you use too, with your brother and baby lock machines, I always recommend you drop the tension back to between -2 and -4 at sometimes. That does help with the metallics. And but all the machines are different. I know when we were here last year, Eddie, you said the Boninas, we dropped the bobbin tension rather than the top tension, and it worked for the Boninas. So with Pfaff and Husqvarna, they run. Janome is pretty good. You drop the tension a little bit for the Janomes as well. And, you know, we find you need to know with your machine, have a test stitch with it. With our metallic threads, and all our threads for that matter, they come with, that one's a seal box. Let me find one that's not sealed. They come with a thread wrap. And so that is with every one. And so once you've finished your embroidery, you put your wrap back on. So you're not got a tail that's getting caught up everywhere. When you're using the metallics, actually use it with the thread loosely on, because then you don't get the thread bouncing. You know, sometimes when it goes through, it can bounce and then go up, so you're not getting an even flow through. By keeping that loosely on there, the thread will run beautifully, and you just eliminate that issue of bouncing with your threads. Design sets, we have lots of them. The beautiful lace work that you can see up the top, that is called Dandelion Lace, and that's one of our new lace collections. And that project is an in the hoop project. So it comes, you applique the fabric to the wash away and then complete the embroidery. And then when you wash it away, you're left with that beautiful doily. There is also a runner that I created with that collection. So instead of using the designs as the in the hoop projects, I've used the individual designs to use on the border for my runner. The design set over also the two small or three small ones, you can't see one's turned around, that is also from Dandelion Lace, that little one with the fabric, they are in the hoop as well. The two on the middle and left-hand side is called Daisy Lace, and this is also from that collection. So I've made a little table mat or placemat. And the little coasters you can see I've used here in the centre, that is all from that one collection. Lace set 8. This is probably our most popular of all the lace sets that we have. With this particular set, you get the beautiful lace work for the outside, but you also get the rose design as well. And this is stitched with our 70 weight thread. And we do have thread sets available with the design set. So you get the Nobel or the matte thread to create the lace. And then you've got the antique gold metallic and the three colours, the 40 weight threads. So with our 40 weight threads, which is your standard embroidery thread, these are polyester, but they have a sheen like rayon. So they're a lot shinier. They look more like a rayon, but they have the durability of a polyester thread. So to create that, you've got the design set plus there are thread kits there as well. She sells seashells. I can say that now. I had so much trouble this morning saying that. This is also one of our newer collections. And it was a toss-up between this project and the cushion that you are doing tomorrow. And the girls all decided that they wanted to do the cushion. But this is part of a design set as well. She sells seashells. So if you like seashells, this is from that collection. Now, with this collection, you get an In the Hoop project as well. So you get this designed and all the instructions to complete this In the Hoop. That is it in its embroidered form. This is a slightly painted version. So you can see I have used some paint just to add a little bit of colour into to the outline work. But it still looks beautiful with or without. So that is seashells. She sells seashells. Now I can't say it again. Chrysanthemum charm. This is a design set as well. And it comes with all these beautiful designs. And the chrysanthemums, there are large designs, there are smaller designs. And there's also a beautiful lace design in this set as well. So you can make lace work and embroidery with that. This one is Bird of Paradise, and there are different leaves, flowers, different ones from that one. This is one of my favourites. This is called Fragrant Frangipani, and in Australia we call the yellow and white flowers frangipanis, but here they're called plumeria, I believe. I did not know that either. That's something I learned after I named this collection. I've created poppies using the same designs, but doing the red colourway so they look like poppies. And this is all freestanding work. So there are freestanding lace for the centres. The frangipani don't have a centre, so it's just the petals. But the leaves are wired. So as part of the design process, you actually stitch the wire through the centre, and it gives you the ability to mould the leaves. The stems are stitched on puffy foam, so they are dimensional as well. So that is a wonderful collection. This comes with a PDF instructional booklet, and it is about 15 pages of instruction on really intensive instructions on how to do all this dimensional work. Are there any questions so far? No? Okay. I will continue with talking about the threads. These are box sets of 70 weight thread. Now, your normal embroidery is 40 weight. These 70 weight threads have 2,000 metres on each spool, so there's basically 2 spools in one. And what we use those for is the lace work, for lettering, and for fine embroidery. I have a design here which I've stitched, and you can see how you get really crisp detail. The 40 weight threads, when you're doing fine and little stitches, the 40 weight's a little bit bulky. If you've got tiny designs like this, stitching it in a 70 weight, it gives an absolute perfect result. And the quilting around that is in the Nobel 70 weight, which is from this set. These we call Quilters Essentials. Do any of you have quilting machines, the long arm machines? These runs amazingly in the long arm machines, and there are 2,000 metres in those spools. These are the shinies. So this is called Summer Shades. They're the nice bright colours. And then the pastels. So they're the pastel set. And with the combination, what we've tried to do is a light and a dark version of each colour. So the piece that's going around, you can see I've used the light and dark pink and the blue and the pale green. And I've also used the metallic thread as well. We have 2 box sets of metallics. We have, thank you, oops. This is the 60 weight. So these are the really fine ones. This is the gold silver set. And it's got silver, another word that we say aluminium. You say aluminum. It's spelled aluminium, so I do apologise for that. It's antique gold, pale gold, and traditional gold. So the Christmas we use the traditional gold because it's the real yellowy gold, but mostly I use pale gold if I'm going to do gold work, and silver. We use silver a lot. So that's your box set. This one is the favourites. This has got all the pretty colours in it. It's got the spring green, the aqua, the lavender, violet rose, and a beautiful variegated, and the pearl white, which is wonderful for quilting. So they're the favourites, the gold and silver sets. We also have some exciting new stuff to share with you. And we are working on a new project book. And this is some of the stitch outs, and you are the first people to see this for the new collection. So this is foxglove. And some of you might have seen the artwork. I think we had the original artwork here for this that I did last year, but you'll see it later when we do the presentation anyway. And hummingbirds. So it's got a couple of hummingbirds. It's got the foxglove, fuchsias, ornamental designs, quilting designs, and it will be a project book. So we've already designed the quilt. We're just finishing off the embroidery designs and everything. So by the end of this year, we will have this new project book and design set. These are some new design sets to come out. This one is tulle work. So it's actually embroidered on tulle. It's called tulle bows. This one is retro lace. I love this. I think it's very cool. And this is a cut work.
Yeah.
So you are the first to see these and the hummingbirds. The bobbin thread, which is new. These ones are new. And the wash away basting thread, which is in the boxes to the right over here. And that makes it so much easier because I based everything to the stabilizer. I never hoop fabric, I only hoop the stabilizer. Rather than having to unpick, as I said before, this is fabulous. So this is the wash away basting thread, and you can recognise it's got the blue for a wash away on the top. The new stabilisers, you all had a feel of the stabilisers. They came around. So we have the Traeger. They're all 50 centimetres, which is 20 inches, I believe, or close to it. The Traeger is 5 metres, so you get 5 metres in a roll. The wash away comes in a roll or a tube. And we recommend getting the tube first, and then you can refill afterwards. And like you, when you live in a damp climate that's, wet pretty much at the time, you want to really keep your stabiliser secure. So by putting it in the tube, it keeps the moisture out. So they're the two ways you can get the wash away. The tearaway, as I said, it's a very fine, soft tearaway. It's 10 metres. That's 10 metres for your tearaway. And the ahaben, which is that lovely soft low loft that I use on all the quilts and things, that's 3 metres by 50 centimetres. So it comes like that. We do have loads more design sets. As you can see, we've got the lovely Christmas ornaments, the cut work. You can see the sample there. Tomorrow, anyone that's here tomorrow, I've actually made a jacket with the cut work, which I will wear tomorrow. So Easter parade. Easter's coming. So we have little girl and little boy Easter baskets, and you do get the instructions for the bag with it. And I have granddaughters and grandsons, so I had to do a little boy version and a little girl version, but all the designs come on that one collection. And then I've also used just a decorative stitch from the machine to create the little border. Okay.
Do you collect eggs?
No.
What do you collect? What's your tradition?
An egg hunt, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Oh, you do that.
we do that. Sorry, when you said collect eggs, I thought you meant have a collection that you know.
Yeah. No.
No, we do have egg hunt, yeah.
Okay, just checking.
And the crane bag, someone asked me about that this morning too. That collection is called Crane Fascination. That one we do not have here, but you can pre-order for that one. Also, this is another new one that's coming, and this will be ready when we get back. We've just finalised the designs, the code sheets. It's all been done. We literally just have to put it all together. This is called Butterfly Blues, and it has all these beautiful butterflies. But it also has the lovely gold work designs from the background, and there are some outline designs and things as well. So that's Butterfly Blues, but that is an order. You will have to order that one. And you are the first to see that as well. You're the first event for us for this year. So thanks, Eddie, very much for having us in your store again.
Well, thank you. And I think what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and end this filming session. And we just want to say thank you to all the people that were out there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.